She says what she means.
Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, members and members of the public, welcome.
Thank you.
So, this is the first meeting of the Evesham Town Plan Committee since the new council was elected. And obviously, each year anyway, we have an election of chair and vice chair. So, item number 1 on the agenda is election of chairman. Have we got any proposals, please? Ooh. Councillor Good.
I would like to propose Councillor Julie Tucker as chair.
Seconded.
I was just going to second that, yeah.
Okay, can we have those in favour then, please? Looks like the committee is unanimous, so thank you very much. I will do my best to chair as well as I can, thank you. Election of vice chairman. Have we any proposals for that?
I was going to propose Councillor Deacon if he's interested in it. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to talk to him beforehand, but
Yeah, I'm more happy to walk.
I'm happy to second that.
Okay. So we have a proposal of Councillor Deacon. All those in favour, please. Looks like again we're not unanimous. Thank you very much.
Who seconded you? There was a
three-way tie between Sarah, Julie and Alan, so pick one from 3 at
I
random.
think it was Alan.
For what?
Second for Julie.
Oh, seconded.
Are there any apologies for absence, please?
Yes, we've had apologies from Caroline Trevor.
Thank you.
She's the Place Project Officer.
Oh, yeah.
Any declarations of pecuniary interest? Mark?
I will just have to declare my regular one at this point in the Battleton book. I'm a neighbouring landowner.
Thank you. We'll note that one, thanks. No. Item 5 is to co-opt. Now it says 2 members from the community without voting rights. However, we do have 3 co-opted members normally. At the moment we have Robin Walker and Jill Paulson.
Like to nominate Robert Hale as well, please. I'll second that.
I'll third that.
Okay. Can we have a show of, if you are in favour of that, please, show of hands. And it looks like that's covered as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
You can take your place at the table now.
Sorry, I'm just getting my numbering right. So we've co-opted
Three.
right. So 3 members and Jill.
Can I just clarify? We're not quite sure whether we have voting rights or not.
No, don't.
Without voting rights. That doesn't mean to say you can't put your hand up when we're voting, because it's nice to know how you feel about it. Okay, okay.
I know it says without voting rights, so yes. I want to make sure it's correct.
I was going to say, I'm just saying that now.
Yes, we'll go back.
Just say that we missed out this public questions, really.
Well, yes, and we'll have to in sort of, but that's okay, because yeah,
Okay, I understand that there are some questions to come from you, but it's about item 8, so if we leave that, your questions until we get to item 8, is that all right with you? Yeah?
Oh, with me? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
sorry. Yes,
Members of the public, yes. Sorry, I don't know your name, so.
that's me, hello.
Okay, moving on to item 6, to receive and approve the minutes of the Town Plan Committee of the 24th of April 23 as a true record. Are there any questions on that from, it would be presumably from anybody who was there? So that's a no. I would like to propose the minutes as a true and fair record. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 7, financial report.
Yes, it's a very short report. He's got £6,000 budget this year.
How much is that?
6,000.
So, moving on to item 8, we got there quite quickly, didn't we? Water quality. We've talked about this a couple of times in the last couple of meetings, and we have since then received a request. Now, I'm sort of thinking that this is what you want to address. So, if you have a look at the item 8 sheet, it is to do with Avon Vale River Action. They've been taking samples from the Avon at Fladbury and Charlton, and also at Blind Lane and Tesco's in Evesham to test water quality. But we've now had at this request to help them purchasing monitoring kits. Do we want to fund them is the question, and perhaps I ought to hand over to the gentleman at the back. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. My name's Brian Gregory. Yeah, just a quick word about it. So recently joined the Avon Vale River Action Group. Just to underline what their kind of intention is basically to extend the coverage of water monitoring along the Avon as far as we can. So we're engaging a number of other stakeholders, other parishes who have offered financial support. The purpose of this is basically to ensure that we've got the data available that we can feed into the wider water quality network, which is a national initiative, so that we can take a national view of water quality across the country, including in our seas as well as our rivers. So this is about extending the amount of monitoring equipment we have so that we can actually increase the coverage. What that will enable us to do is to isolate points along the Avon where we can see pollution coming into the river, and then we can hopefully narrow down who is polluting, and obviously improve quality along the Avon, which I'm sure we all believe is the right thing to do. So that's a bit of background about the context of it.
Okay, do you mind if we ask you questions?
Fire away.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I've already got a question.
I was just going to ask, you know, the kits, the results that you get from it, are the kits and the results recognised by whoever we're going to give the results to? Because the worst thing that could happen is we do it and they go, oh yeah, we don't like that kit.
So the equipment is approved by the Environment Agency. The results are fed in, you feed them literally directly onto the internet, which are then fed directly into the water quality network results. They're all accredited. You have to be trained to use it once you've purchased the equipment, which is £130 by the way, in case anyone's wondering how much this is. It's all approved and will feed into the overall data analysis. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Kimberley.
I wonder if I could ask a question. I'm familiar with the river areas at Fladbury and Charlton, but I'm not quite sure where's Blind Lane. I live in Evesham, but I'm not sure where Blind Lane is.
Rugby club.
At the rugby club.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it down there, yeah. And then there's Tesco's. And from there up the river to Woodman Bridge, there's no testing going on up there at all.
There is some testing being done by an angling club. What we're doing is we're working to work with them to pull that data so that we've got a complete, the whole way along the Avon. We're also joining groups with the Stratford group, so we've got the Upper Avon as well, and we're trying to reach down to other groups because there's a lot of independent activity taking place and it's not joined up. What we want to do is around the Evesham area and upwards is basically ensure that we've got as many monitoring points as possible.
Is anybody monitoring up towards Nottingham?
That's part of what we want to do.
Yeah.
If we successful with this kit, that's where this will be, literally Alvernham.
Oh, that's up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
The cost seems very reasonable to me. Is that the basic minimum of things that you need, or are there things that you could do within an ideal world? And so what would that be and how much would that cost?
Well, 2 kits would be nice rather than 1, but which is asking for 1. But basically this is subsidised. So Girling Angling Society, who are based out of Fladbury, because they're part of this national network through the Rivers Trust and feeding into the water quality network, they get the equipment at a discounted price. I think it should normally be about £400. So as long as we go through them, this money, if agreed, will go to them, they will purchase the equipment, that will be given to us.
Jill.
Can I ask, have you thought of approaching Eagle One, who are the owners of the Valley Shopping Centre, so that you could do something along the stretch that is at the bottom of their slope?
Yeah, I mean, as a group, we're happy to approach anybody if they're happy to provide funds and to allow. The other thing is allowing access to the land.
Well,
That's another
they own
thing
the
to
land,
actually get to the river, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's insurance considerations as well.
Joe, have you got this gentleman's contact details if we were to send him the information on who to talk to at Eagle One?
Yes, we've got your email address, haven't we?
Yes, you have, yeah.
Councillor Booth.
Thank you. How many of these kids are you asking for?
1.
Just the one?
Yeah. At the moment, as I say, we would certainly take more. But we recognise that obviously funds are not freely available. I would, however, say that Fladbury Parish are purchasing 3 and Cropthorne 1.
But so looking at the total cost goes up for each pack £280. It's very little, really.
It's £130 per kit.
Is it? So
Yes.
the prices on the incidental, are they?
The other ones are basically the replacements for testing. So in other words, you don't use test, you need basic some solubles and things like that to actually take the test. So that's how to price it.
Councillor Haynes.
Can I just ask what exactly is in the kit then?
To be honest, I wish I knew. I think the specification, I sent a specification in, it might be included in there. I haven't been trained in the kits yet, so I'm afraid I can't answer that question. But we've got several people who are trained in them and obviously have the concepts of those kits.
Robert.
Yes. Where have you got a list of the organisations that are going to be involved in the Avon? That's one question. The second is, how will this tie in the public data available from Severn Trent itself? And they have to publish the data these days, I believe. That's fairly recent. Third is, this is only phosphate and nitrogen as far as I can see, and ammonia. It doesn't cover what I would have thought the most important thing, which is coliforms, which are, you can tolerate a bit of phosphate and nitrate, but it's the bugs you've really got to worry about. How do you propose to present the data to this council and the others, and will that then will that go to Severn Trent? What do you intend Severn Trent to do with it?
You're asking too many questions.
Yeah, I only need to answer them one turn. Do you want to start at the beginning and I'll answer each one in turn? What other organisations are involved, and how will the group data be presented? Right, so the other organisations involved at the moment are Girling Angling Society. As I say, we have to purchase the equipment through them. Where are they based? They're Girling at
Birmingham.
Oh, Birmingham. Oh, I see. Birmingham.
No, Girling.
Girling Angling, yeah. Birmingham Anglers are also involved because they are allowing, Birmingham Angler Association, because they're allowing access to the land, and also by membership of Birmingham Anglers, £5 fee, we are covered for public indemnity when we can go onto the land and actually take the samples.
That's useful.
Okay. Sorry, what's the other part of your question, sorry?
How will you present the data? How will it be grouped, and who will it be presented to?
So, as I say, it's basically submitted through the Water Quality Network. So it's going to be accessible through their website. It's also going to be published on a new website that's being created by the Avon Vale River Action Group itself. I think we're trying to tie this in with the Environment Agency as well, in terms of the Environment Agency data. At the moment, there's no link to Severn Trent to forward on to one of your questions that you were going to ask me. There's no association with Severn Trent. We're talking to Severn Trent, but obviously Severn Trent are one of the people we want to be monitoring.
Yes, and what have they said so far? Are they in favour of this, or?
Are they in favour of it? They make the right noises in terms of, yes, they're trying to clean up the river, but obviously we know through some of the data that's already been captured, the levels are high, and the number of storm events where there's been sewage and the number of hours pouring into the river, we know that obviously they're not really taking a lot of action. So this is part of this initiative, is to keep organisations like them on their toes so that we can actually go back with hard data.
How do you think this will improve Severn Trent's action, or the improvements required, particularly the storm overflows, which again is the coliform, which the main worry there is coliforms, not nitrogen or phosphate.
Can I just jump in here and say the Environment Agency doesn't test for that either.
No,
they are simply testing for the environment, and not for public health.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because it's public health, well, I would be more concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, as a group, where we're focusing on is basically ensuring that we have some data available. And you mentioned phosphate and nitrates. What it also does test is water temperature, and it also tests, I forgot the name of it now, but effectively the amount of particles. So now
suspended particles.
Yeah, in the river as well.
Yeah, that's not
the equipment. Obviously, that price is limited in terms of what it can do.
Yeah,
we would need something far more sophisticated.
Yeah, I can see nitrogen and phosphate testing has been available for years. Like this, I've used it myself years ago for these nitrate strips.
Robert, you need to get on a little bit because we've got others to ask questions.
And the next question is, what progress has been made readjusting my proposed letter from the Town Council back in March to Severn Trent on this issue about separation of the sewerage and stormwater systems in Evesham?
We haven't had one then.
Have you sent it?
Yeah.
Oh, you have sent it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a letter that you wrote, basically.
Huh?
It was the letter that you wrote.
Oh,
So
really?
the letter that you wrote, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And how long ago?
Well, probably when we last spoke, I can't remember.
Yeah.
When did we last speak?
I thought Mark was going to boundarise it because it was a bit.
Oh, no, I just basically sent it just as you wrote it. Right.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move on. Councillor Booth.
Thank you. We all know this river's in a state. If you watch the television, you've seen people testing this river. The MPs ain't going to do anything about it, so it's got to come from us. And I suggest now, I'm going to propose that we buy 5 kits. We've got 6 grand.
Sorry, I'm just so keen to give them more than they're asking for.
Sorry?
I'm just so keen to give them more than they're asking for.
When you say 5 kits, is that 5 lots of 130 or 5 lots of the shopping list? 280.
Well, if you say we buy 5 lots of everything, it's still only a grand. And it's got to be done. This river is a mess.
No, I just wondered what you meant by 5.
Well, I thought the old lot came to £280. Now Brian said that it's £130 a kit. So if it's £530, let's do that. Or even if it's 5 at 282, let's do that. You just get the stuff out and get it done. We sit and we talk about these things and nothing gets done. Give him the blooming kits, let him get on with it.
It's 5.
Can I just ask, yes, when the breakdown of these kits, I think we're all slightly confused. In Alan's suggestion, do you need 5 monitoring kits, or would you be able to make it less than 5, but you could have extra checkers and the extra packs to go in?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's, you've got more ammunition, but you don't need that many kits to actually do it.
The bottom line is the more kits we've got, the more places are on the river. We haven't got a shortage of volunteers who will go out and take regular monitoring. What we've got a shortage of is obviously kits themselves, and then the ongoing, the equipment to be able to actually do the testing. So whatever money council food bit, we will use that productively.
How many kits do you need for the Evesham area? The Evesham section of the river?
Ideally for here, we could do with 3.
Right, okay. Thank you.
Can I just ask, if you say 3, is that on the main part, the river itself?
It's all the way through from basically Offenham, all the way through to effectively Chadbury. It's that area there.
Okay, although you could already, yes, okay.
We're filling in gaps where things are not being done here.
I just wanted to say that water quality is something which is very much in the public consciousness at the minute, and this is the sort of expenditure which I think the public would approve of and which is supported as much as possible.
Can I suggest we stick with 5, because it would also be useful to be checking Battleton Brook, which we've spent a lot of money on, and the other area that feeds into it, of course, is the Isbourne. And even if we don't have volunteers, I'm sure one of us would be, I certainly would be willing to do Battleton Brook, given all the work we put into it.
I'm very confident that the group would be very happy to extend the monitoring to include the Isbourne and Battleton Brook, because the more information, this is what this is about, the more information we've got, the more data we've got, the more we can prove where the pollution's coming from and track it and source it to where it's originating.
Thank you. So we have a proposal of 5 kits. We have
5 lots of the whole thing, I think we're going for.
We're going for 5 lots of the whole thing, are we?
Whatever they want.
Yeah.
If they want the 5 lots of everything, 5 lots of everything.
I'm not going to say no.
Because we've got a little shopping list in front of us of the kit, the ammonia checker, the phosphate and nitrate strips, I assume they are, and the ammonia reagent.
That is a full set of what you need.
Okay.
Could I propose, against other people's verdict, that we buy 3 kits? Because if we spend £1,410, that's a quarter of our budget. And I think that's rather excessive, considering how much budget we got. Unless we got some extra funds that are coming in.
We only have a meeting every quarter.
No, okay, that's it, so, yeah.
Okay, we've got an amendment, but we need a seconder for the amendment. Is there anybody willing to second that? Looks like that's not going to happen.
No.
Have you got a second for the budget?
Yes, we've got Councillor Julie Haynes.
Okay, and it was Alan proposed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a proposal and a seconder for 5 kits. Can I see who is in favour, please? Okay. Looks like that is carried, I think, because we've only got those against. Let's just give you a chance to put aside. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to be giving you 5 kits.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so you don't have to stay for the whole thing, but you can, but I'll be in touch.
So,
Yeah, well, we'll leave you to business. Thank you very much.
hey, Brian. Okay. So, are we all done with water quality? Item 9, town plan review. As you, I think most people will know, we started a review last autumn where the public gave their views about what had been achieved and what still needed to be achieved and anything new. And we have collated all of that and we've worked on it. And we got so far as to getting some new priorities, but there's still quite a lot of work to be done on that. And my question to the committee is, are you happy for the working group that was established last year, which was Councillor Deakin, Jill, Robert and myself, to continue working on that, or do you want to establish a new committee, a new working group? Councillor Hughes, sorry.
All the people who are on the working group before are still members of this committee, either elected or co-opted. So in that case, given on the basis of continuity, I think it would be sensible just to keep the same people and keep them hard at work.
Yeah.
If they want to do it.
If they want.
Well, I've already spoken to Jill and to Councillor Deakin. I haven't spoken to Robert, so it's up to you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right.
So you know that.
So, yeah, we can continue with that, that's great.
Madam Chairman, before you move on, in view of the discussion about the budget and the initial expenditure you've just agreed, can I draw to your attention the fact that some of your budget may well be needed in connection with documentation for the town plan review if we manage to make some good progress? And so don't spend 6k and then find we can't do anything to publicise the work on the town plan review. So we need to think about that at our subcommittee meeting.
No, thank you, Jill. Thanks. Right, we will move on now to item 10. Now, I don't know whether the place project officer sent a report in. Thank you. Has everybody got a copy of the report?
Has anyone not taken it?
No.
I'll just pass mine down.
Thank you.
That's all right.
I'll send you another email regardless. Have you got one?
You've been on it, really.
So I'll give you a minute or two to have a look.
The first item on this is project update, the shopfront improvement scheme. I notice again it's only on the High Street and Vine Street. There's other streets in this town that need improvement. Port Street, Bridge Street, even. Then we've got the other streets down Waterside. You've all got the streets off Benchworth, which all need tidying up.
You're quite right, and I seem to remember that when this came to the place board, that there was a strong feeling that the High Street and Vine Street should be done first, because they tend to be the ones where the most traffic comes through, and they're the most visible.
I think, can I just add to that, Chair? I think that there's certainly the intention that other streets in Evesham should be covered by this fund in subsequent years. So it's just a matter of order of priority. But those two streets have been chosen for the first tranche.
Councillor Deacon.
I agree with Alan. Generally speaking, High Street and Vine Street aren't that bad. There are little pockets. This money would be far better concentrated on Port Street. People who come to the Cotswolds, who decide to have a day out in Evesham, drive down Port Street as an entry to town. And that's what they see. And if it was me, I'd turn left into Waterside and carry on to Pershore. Because it's depressing. Port Street is depressing and needs money spent on it. High Street and Vine Street should not be priorities for this.
Well, the County Council spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on replacing the pavements.
Well, the County Council wasted £700,000 on replacing the pavements. I had a very lengthy exchange with the County Council about that very expenditure, and it's wrong focus. That pavement is as bad now as it was before it was done, if not worse.
Yeah.
And people continue to park on it without any penalty, etc., etc. £700,000 gone, which could have been spent on shop fronts. That was my point made at the time.
I always agree with that.
So, but we are where we are. And if we've got priorities should be based on where the town thinks the priority should be. Which I think, if you ask majority of people in Evesham, which street needs doing up first and most, Port Street.
Councillor Keller.
I just completely support actually what Nigel's just said about Port Street, because I had first-hand experience of that teaching out in the Cotswolds a few years ago. I had people actually coming and going, I was going to go into Evesham for the day and I drove down Port Street, my goodness me, what's wrong with it, and comments like that. It was only a couple of years ago, and then people driving through don't notice the pavement, they don't notice the shop fronts.
Exactly.
Right, well that's already been committed, so there's nothing we can do about that. All we can do is to reiterate the need in Benchworth, because I would agree with you as well. So, are there any other questions or comments on this report?
Just to clarify, when you say that's already been done, so there's
No, the money's already been committed. The work hasn't been done.
Yeah, but the money's been committed to the high street, and there's no money left to do Benjamin. Is that what you're saying?
There you go. No.
Not in this round. At the moment. They are only inviting applications from properties in High Street and Vine Street. Properties elsewhere can't apply. At a later stage, it may be opened up to other streets.
Yeah.
That's the current situation.
When you say properties can't apply, they apply for funding to do their shop front up then?
It's only being opened up to properties in High Street and Vine Street to apply for these grants at the moment. Properties elsewhere cannot apply for these grants at the moment. They may be able to in future, and it would be good that we can feed back to say that we want to see Port Street given higher priority. But at the moment, all of the current funding will go to High Street and Vine Street.
Who's funding it then? Which end?
The Place Board.
Which area?
Yeah.
I'll just go on that point. If there's insufficient uptake from property in High Street and Vine Street, is there provision within that to divert unused allocated funds to Port Street? Just if High Street doesn't apply for it because they don't feel the need for it, is that budget then just going to get rolled into something else, or will it be allocated?
No, it's there to be utilised.
Can I just ask, on the accessibility audit, who is direct access? Does anybody know who they are?
Yes,
Can you tell me?
they are the people that did the audit on the Almond.
Yeah, I know, but have you
They
got
were a
any
company
information?
that were
They are
commissioned
very,
to do
very,
it.
So how much are they charging? Anybody know?
We don't know, it's being done through Place Board.
Okay, so we're not sort of contributing to that in any way, no?
No, but I'm hoping to have that very soon.
Yeah,
So
no,
send it around
I just-
and have a look.
I just wondered who they were and what sort of charge it was that was being taken out of that fund, if there was anything that we're liable
Can I just comment? Related to that as well though, one of the things, I was at the Wychavon Town Centre panel meeting a few weeks ago, and one of the things that was commented there, which I think is coming through here as well, is that their definition of the town centre was very narrow and basically just meant High Street, Vine Street and Bridge Street. That's why we've got the concentration on that area for the shopfront improvement schemes, and also the accessibility audit, which concentrated on there and didn't consider some of the issues elsewhere, like Port Street, for example, has hugely bad accessibility issues caused by parked vehicles, and you've got places like the Cheltenham Road pedestrian crossing where the county council plonked a pole in the middle of the pavement next to a BT box, you know, and so we have already kind of pushed them a bit to expand their vision of what the town centre is and look at the wider town centre, including not just the main shopping streets themselves, but also the routes that people take to get into those streets. So I think you are to a certain extent pushing at a bit of an open door here with some of this, but we will carry on pushing it in that way. We just need to expand their vision a little bit beyond their idea of what the town centre is.
And this will, all of these comments will be fed back to the Place Board.
How often do they have their reviews then? You know, when you say, oh, within this circle of events going on, when do they have their next review then? Or is it just an ongoing thing when they decide, oh, we'd like to do this or that and the other? Do they have an actual review of it?
I honestly don't know, because I've only been on that panel for one meeting so far, and most of that was reports from going over since the previous one.
But can I just ask what you mean by a review anyway?
Well, Mark said, oh, well, in this round, we're just doing the High Street and Vine Street and Bridge Street. Well, in this round, well, when's the next round?
The next round will start this, we're into a new year.
Right, well, that's the point I'm trying to make then. Can we ask them to have a look at Bridge, to Port Street then?
For next year.
For next year?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We can pass all of this on. This can all be passed on to the place board.
You need to be aware that the town centre prospectus, which is what the place board has been set up to deliver, does not include Bainsworth.
It don't include anything really, it's worth it. It's a right waste of money. It is an absolute waste of money, that prospectus. No waste of money. It doesn't even, on that shop front improvement, it doesn't mention Bridge Street.
No, well, it's because Bridge Street's mostly okay in terms of shop fronts, apart from the empty ones, but it's bad.
You could say that about the High Street. I mean, Bridge Street's not as good as the High Street, I'm afraid. Or Vine Street, Bridge Street.
Did you have your hand up, Robert?
Yes, yes, on the accessibility order, which I went to the Wallace House, I agree. My impression was it was very focused on visitors to the town and not people living here and accessibility within the town. I didn't know whether that was my impression or what that was concentrated on. I think that's a big error, so I'm glad to hear that Wickhaven are thinking more widely than that. Just on the report, press strip, I don't quite understand the heading. There's a whole heap of websites on the back and an ambassador program.
I'll send it by email. I'll send it around by email and click on them.
Yeah. These are press people who've come from the press and visited or what?
I think so,
Yes.
Yeah.
Broadly speaking, yes. Wickhaven, I think Wickhaven's media office kind of managed to persuade a whole load of tourism reporters from various papers to come and wander around various parts of the district. And those are the various reports that are printed as a result.
The ambassador program, what's that?
That will be announced. It's not announced yet.
But it's linked, again, that is linked to the place board.
Oh, right, okay.
Jim?
May I ask how the town council is getting on with this project to repair the churchyard gate pillar?
So I'm just going to ask.
We haven't actually had any contact with them. So I've noticed down here that it says that 50% grants have been agreed, but I'm waiting to hear. I'm assuming that will be sent to us officially, and then we can bring the remainder to the council.
But no, I think, well, what I understood from the meeting at which this basically has come out of is that different costs have been sent through to you by me, and that the place board would grant 50% of whichever cost it was that you choose to go ahead with.
Okay, so the council's being asked for 50%, the remaining 50% then?
Yes.
Okay, sure. That's really just a question of putting that on the agenda then.
Right.
Okay, well, we can take that forward then, John, yeah?
Yes, Councillor Clark, I think.
It may be of interest to the current committee that I was on the previous committee, and when I was elected I had meetings with Julie to discuss aspects of the town plan, and with the background that I have, I discussed the fact that in my opinion there was nothing in the town plan relating to disability, disablement, and that having had contact with Caroline Treadwell from the presentation we had in the town hall last year, she asked me to become involved with accessibility, which I have done, and I continue to do so. And as Mark has identified, we had that meeting, town centre meeting a few weeks ago, and I've been invited by Caroline to attend because of work that I've been involved with her and will continue to do. There are different phases to accessibility and even the interpretation of that word, and my interpretation, as I identified to Julie, our chair, and to Caroline, is literally access to premises. That will come in phase 2 and 3 of the whole matter. Unfortunately, I can't be doing that work anymore for this particular council because I was not elected to this current committee for whatever reason, even though I had put a lot of time and effort into it. But I will continue to be working with Caroline and to continue looking at things. And for a discussion I had with Julie, our chair, I will report back instantly or initially to the Witchhaven group led by Caroline, and then if anything relevant comes to it, I will pass it on to Julie as I've identified. It's unfortunate that's the situation, but that's where I am between a rock and a hard place. And the next phase will be looking at accessibility to commercial premises for people in wheelchairs that have motor scooters, etc. Can they access? Can they actually get round shops and everything else that relates and links into DDA?
Thank you. Are there any more questions or comments?
Yes, please. Well, mate, just this accessibility audit, I went to the meeting as John did, and you went to
Yeah, I went as well.
And what struck me was they never asked any of the charities in the town that deal with disabilities. Not one. They never went to Garage Art. They never went to Shop Mobility. They never asked anybody in Working World. They never asked anybody anywhere else. There's got disability people there with physical disabilities, what their problems were. And I thought it was a big miss. And those are the people who know what's wanted in the town, not us sitting around the table. I know what we want in the town. But I just don't understand why they didn't go to these disability charities. And if that comes up again, maybe they will.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, all of those organisations were invited to participate in the disability audit,
No,
to
they
the best of
weren't.
my knowledge.
No, they weren't, Mark. They were not.
At least some of them were definitely were, because I've seen the distribution list of the information that went out.
I asked at the accessibility audit meeting, and they said no.
Well, the people you were speaking
They
to...
were on about
probably
the
not
streets
people
that they'd
organising
looked
it.
at. They never went round the side streets. They never went up Lime Street where there's a bloody great tree growing through the middle of the footpath. They never went up there where you can't get, you have to go in the road. They never went down Swan Lane where the curbs are all like that and you tip over in one of these if you're not careful. And this, you know, they spent a lot of money on that. They spent a lot of money on that. It was a very good meeting, and what came out of it was very good. But I don't know, it just seemed to be blinkered to going down the High Street and down Bridge Street. You know, it's just, it missed out on a lot of chances, a lot of places where they could have got in depth. They definitely didn't go to Garage Art, they don't ask Garage Art. They never asked Shop Mobility, they never asked them. And they never spoke to Working World. Sorry, that's my case.
You've got a comment to add? Yeah.
I can support what Alan is saying. I was at that meeting also and can confirm that what he's saying was, as came across in that meeting, to be correct. I had, in the work that I was doing at that time, as the audit was being set up with direct access, I did offer to go with them if they wanted me to, identifying organisations such as Alan has identified. But although I made the offer, I actually heard nothing back afterwards. But I'm sure that had had that offer been taken up either myself or with advice from other people and support, that could have been done. But I will, if anybody wants me to, even though I'm not a member of your committee, I'm happy to take comments back and discuss it with Caroline, if you so wish, as to why that situation didn't happen.
Thank you.
This may be a stupid question, and I know we've discussed it at full council. It's the bus shelters are really vexing me at the minute. And driving past those, they're such a mess, and we need to sort of how are we tackling those? Is that still ongoing?
It's over to Jo.
Yeah, we're struggling like crazy to get enough quotes. We've got one. We had one ages ago, and we tried to throw it open to lots of other people. But ideally we want someone that deals with bus shelter cleaning properly, so that they can get off all the sticky stuff that people put on, graffiti, all that kind of thing. It's not just a question of washing it over with a jet wash or anything like that. It's got to be done early in the morning before the buses start. So it's quite a bespoke and specialised sort of thing. So we want someone that cleans bus shelters rather than someone that just cleans. So we've contacted loads of people actually, all the people that the district council, use for their cleaning, all that kind of thing. And we're just struggling. So what we're going to have to do, in fact, Councillor Scarfield's talked to a chap who does window cleaning. He might put in a price, but we've got one basically. So eventually, what we're going to have to do is we're going to take that one to the council in September. Well, it's going to be planning and estates committee, and see what happens and whether it's not cheap. But it just seems as there's so few people. We're just falling in the middle. We've got 18 bus shelters. So in cities, for example, there's loads, and the contract's worth more than all the rest of it. So we're not big enough for the we're not big enough for the small people, not small enough for the tiny. It's a tricky one actually. We struggled like crazy, and we've contacted people, and they're we're a bit too far away. Contact these people, and then we filled in loads of things online. It's a bit demoralising actually. So if anyone comes across anyone or talks to anyone at a meeting or is in touch with a council or councillors, please put us in touch because it would be really helpful. We're going to chase one more person who was recommended. They haven't replied, and maybe we want to get two. We'll see if the window cleaner comes up with anything. I haven't got, window cleaning is quite different, really. And ideally, we do want to get a proper clean. To get off graffiti and all that tape, which is quite hard to get off, and you can't just get it off with, soapy water. But we can only do what we can do. So the plan is to bring it to a meeting in September with what we've got.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. I think we'll move on to item 11 now. Transport matters, and there's two sections on this, and for the first one, active travel update, I'm going to pass it over to Robin, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to introduce an organisation called Active Evesham. Those of you who have been on this committee in previous years will know about us, but for the benefit of those who have not. It's a group of people who want to see active travel as part of the solution to congestion problems in Evesham. It comprises a couple of county councillors, a couple of district councillors, some town councillors, representatives of cycling walking groups, a representative of the civic society and other members of the community. So we certainly aim to be a representative of the community as a whole. It's a community initiative to encourage, enable and inspire people in Evesham to make walking, wheeling and cycling their natural choice for everyday journeys in and around town. At the moment, 60% of journeys in cars are less than 2 miles in Evesham. But we recognise fully that you can't just tell everybody to get on their bike. I think Norman Terry tried it once, it didn't go down too well. What we're campaigning for is safe walking and cycling routes connecting schools, shops, homes and transport links. This committee has supported our drive to get 20 mile an hour speed limits it says in most residential and community areas. We had quite a discussion about that on Friday. and various other initiatives that result in reduced congestion, reduced pollution, and a people-friendly town that has a focus on people rather than motor cars. The reason I'm giving you this update is that there's been recently, the obstacle has always been, in my view, the county council's lack of action in terms of making active travel more attractive. Would you agree with that? Yeah? Okay. And we're not the only people who think that. Active Travel England, who's the body who is responsible for this across the country, have rejected a variety of funding bids by Worcestershire County Council, and they've actually given them a 0 rating for funding bids, saying until you change your attitude, sharpen your act, we're not going to give you any more money. So on the basis of that, that's pretty dismal. But there has been a change in leadership at Worcestershire County Council. We have a new cabinet member responsible for highways. There has been improved dialogue between Worcestershire County Council and representative groups such as ourselves, and they've convened a stakeholder group called the Worcestershire Active Travel Stakeholder Group to basically come up with recommendations as to what we can do to make active travel a reality. And at the most recent meeting of that group, chaired by Mike Rouse, the county councillor, he said he would like Evesham to form a subgroup to address congestion and consider how active travel will help. And Active Evesham has been asked to look into that. It's a bit of a hospital pass, really, if you recognise the rugby parallel. Do we want to catch this ball? Well, we do want to catch this ball because we want to make something happen. And so we had a very productive meeting on Friday, looking at what we felt was desirable, what we felt was possible, and we're working on recommendations based on things like local transport notice Note 120, which is the recent Department of Transport guidelines to cycle and walking route design, 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, the 2020 campaign, etc. Walkers are welcome. We've recently had recognition of walkers are welcome status for the whole town. Congratulations to Evesham Rambling Club for achieving that. We're also drawing on this wonderful document, the Evesham Town Centre Investment Prospectus, which obviously everybody here thoroughly approves of. But there's some really good stuff in there. You may not agree with all of it, and I don't agree with all of it, but there's some really good stuff there on making active travel a reality and making Evesham a people-friendly town rather than a motorist-friendly town. It's not even a motorist-friendly town. So I'll shut up in a minute. What we will... it also draws on the Evesham Town Plan, which has some very good recommendations on cycling and walking, which we haven't been able to implement yet. And we are promised by the Worcestershire County Council they will eventually come up with a local cycling and walking infrastructure plan, something that's been under development since 2016, and I'm tearing my hair out trying to get them to actually give us the most recent and hopefully the definitive report. So, just to say that active travel is something that can help towards relieving congestion in town, but in order to achieve it, we've got to do quite a lot to make Evesham a more people-friendly town in terms of making roads and footpaths safe and feel safe to walk and cycle on. Would you like to add anything? I've got two of my colleagues from this group on this committee. Julie?
No, I would say that.
Is that sufficient?
You could tell them the date of our next meeting.
Our next meeting is the 1st of September, where we're going to hopefully come up with some definitive recommendations which we'll put to County Council and look forward to them receiving them with open arms.
Have your deliberations and recommendations included anything to deal with the pedestrian hostile nature of Port Street?
Yes.
Well, we haven't done the recommendations yet, that's the subject of the next meeting.
But there's an awful lot of, in fact there are four members of this group in this room here.
Put it like this, we're very aware of the problem, it's how you tackle it legally.
Absolutely, and you know, the pavement parking particularly. I mean, one way of solving it is to make Port Street one way. That's going to have some interesting discussions if that's one right. But that's possibly the only way to make Port Street a people-friendly street.
There is one way. I filmed a couple of cars on the zebra crossing in Port Street and reported with Operation Snap using video, and the police informed me that those perpetrators have been warned. It's no good taking still photos, but if there was a campaign to film cars driving on the pavement in Port Street, you see parking isn't illegal, it's just driving that's illegal, so you've got to video it and post it at Operation Snap. If we inundated the police with that, then would they do something perhaps?
That could well be a practical suggestion, Robert.
You know, it needs a few people there every night from about 6 o'clock.
And I recognise there are some new people on this committee, and you may be sitting there thinking, what's all this stuff about active travel? We have had very good support from the previous committee, and I hope we can rely on some support from members of the committee. But we're always happy to debate and discuss. And look, you know, if you've got ideas, then please put them forward. Why?
Yes, well, you've forgotten Heather.
Heather, I'm sorry. Right, sorry, I no. I haven't put your face to the name tonight. Sorry about that.
Right, well, thank you very much for that, Robin, and yes, hopefully we'll get something actually moving on it. The other section on transport matters is public transport. There have been a couple of things happening recently. One was a meeting that took place at Evesham Station between Great Western Railway, Network Rail, Vale Public Transport Group and others, and it was to talk about what could be done fairly cheaply to help in make a start on improving public transport. One of the things that was discussed was the fact of making better links between the rail service and the bus service. So it was particularly linked to the 247 Evesham to Redditch route, the R4 Evesham to Broadway route, and the 540 Evesham to Tewkesbury route. The Stratford route already stopped just outside the station, so that wasn't looked at. But certainly Great Western seemed quite keen to support anything, and also Network Rail were okay with it. The only thing, the problem was that was missing from the meeting at that moment was the councillor, Mike Rouse from Worcester County Council, and we're waiting for a response from him as to whether he finds that something that he would support. So to extend the routes of those buses up to the station as opposed to just at the bus station, because that would then provide something that we could advertise as a good link for people coming in from elsewhere, or people from the villages coming into the town and wanting to go further. So it would be something small, but it could add some benefit. So we will wait to see what Councillor Rouse has got to say about that. The other thing that has come up, and if anybody's seen the Journal this week, you will know that there is a proposal from all of, I think it's all of the rail companies to move people out of ticket offices, and certainly GWR are proposing to do that. There is a consultation which finishes on Wednesday, I'm afraid, but they plan to bring Evesham's ticket office person, I don't know whether they call him station master or what, out of the ticket office, and it would be, the proposed changes would happen in October. So it's as early as that they're talking about. And they say colleagues move closer to customers in other locations at the station to support and assist with ticket purchases. My thought would be, certainly in Evesham, it's not very far to get to the platform, is it, from the ticket office? So exactly where they would put the station master, goodness knows. And what would he do if he's stuck out there and can't act? He wouldn't be able to sell tickets. He could assist you to purchase them online or to use the ticket machine. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I'm rather concerned, and certainly the Vale Public Transport Group is very concerned. And Julian Palfrey, who is the chair, has written a letter in the Journal this week about it. His particular thing in the Journal was about the fact that it's only 3-week consultation period, which doesn't give people very long to do anything about it. My question would be, what do members of the committee think?
Well, it does seem, from what you're saying, that the powers that be, in their 3 weeks consultation, are not given enough time to rural stations, where our situation, to my mind, is perfect as it is. We travel on the train occasionally, and I found the station master, when in his office, most helpful, and he sell you a ticket then. And I can't see what the big problem is. Like you say, where's he going to go? In the winter time, he's still going to be stood in that foyer where you go to buy a ticket. And it's so. I'm just at a bit of a loss as to. Are they consulting with smaller places just to keep their one person there?
Well, that's the consultation period is going on, and as I say, it finishes on Wednesday. So if there's anything we want to say, we've got to have it said by Wednesday. Having said that, some people were out on Saturday apparently from the Vale Public Transport Group talking to people going to and coming away from the station, and they spoke to 60 people. And all of them said that they would like to see the station master stay so that the ticket office is open. However, the company is saying that because people are moving to buying online, they think they need to move these people out of the ticket office, because presumably they're saying that they're spending a lot of time, which is dead time, inside the office. So for Evesham, 13% of tickets sold were sold at the ticket office, another 7.5 were sold at the machine at the station. So the majority is being booked online. But for the rural station, I just can't see what the benefit would be. I could see in somewhere like Birmingham, where you might have people in the concourse and things like that, but
because there are a number of hours though, even at Evesham, the station master isn't there, because I believe the station master works quite an early shift.
yes.
So if you travel in the afternoon, you have to do it without any help whatsoever.
You do.
I suspect, and this is just my theory, that they're trying to get the station master out of the office to assist people buying tickets, because the long-term aim will be to teach people how to buy their own tickets, and then you don't need somebody to help people buy tickets. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So I suspect that's what they're going to try and do, and that's going to be in a cost-cutting exercise, unfortunately, which I think is sad.
Robert.
I spoke to my son, my youngest son, yesterday, and following all this, I asked him about tickets, because he's in China, has been for the last 18 months now, and what it was like travelling on trains there and ticketing. They don't bother with any paper tickets. It's all online or all on smartphones. And of course, they've been using smartphones. Everyone has had to have a smartphone for their QR codes during COVID, even to get into their own building. So, because everyone had to be tested every 72 hours, you had to get a QR code. I think that's the future. I think the railways have seen that. Of course, you have to use. They have to be. We want the railways to be economic, so the staff have to be used to maximum effect. And I think that's the next move. It's just the Chinese, backward country like that, have just moved a damn lot quicker than we have.
Councillor Deakin, you had a question?
Yeah, I was going to say, relative to what Sarah said, the hours that the station manager is at the station seem to be a little bit too early. Yeah, I'm guilty. I buy my tickets online when I travel by train, and occasionally I've tried to buy them in the machine, and about 5 or 6 times I've tried, the machine has either been broken or the screen is actually positioned the wrong way, so the majority of the day it's facing the sun and you can't read what's on it anyway. So I would suggest that if they're going to have somebody there helping somebody buy tickets, that they move the machine to somewhere where it can actually be used, like possibly inside the quarry or whatever. But yeah, I think rather than get rid of the station manager, adjust his hours, because if he's working the same hours and doing that, if he's stood twiddling his thumbs in the foyer of the station, and it's not, like you say, it's not like it's a big station. He's not directing people to multiple platforms or helping people along the journeys. There are 2 platforms.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
He's not going to be very busy stood around outside, is he?
Well, his working hours are 6:20 until 12:50. So the majority of the time when a lot of us would be travelling, you can't access him anyway.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Just quickly, I don't know if you know, but GWR run a system where disabled people can phone up this company and book your ticket online, and at the same time, you'll be met at the station, or on the train, given your seat, met your destination, and take off again. And when I last went down to Cardiff, I was talking to the chap who put me on the train. He said, we don't know what's happening with this system, it'll probably back up. GWR are the people who are pushing it, and this is called APT, I think. And I said, oh, so that means we'll be fighting with the rest of them in the station. He said, yeah, you will. And I thought, blimey, I'll keep my eye on this. But there's been nothing said about this, whether this is going to back up or not. So if I find out it is, then I'll bring it back to this committee and see what we can do.
I think it will actually.
I'm sure it will.
One of the things that the person who is taken out of the ticket office is supposed to do is to help disabled passengers. So it'll be hit and miss.
But yeah, it's normally the conductor on the train that helps long distance. I use it towards that as well, but it's exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the plan. That's one of the things that they're meant to do as well, is to deal with disabled passengers. So.
Public transport is finished. Back to the horse and cars by now.
Well, so, is there anything that would we want to contribute to the consultation? Got a lot of sort of blank faces looking at me.
Or do we support a letter on behalf of Evesham Town Council saying that we're rejecting in the strongest terms this proposal? Would that do any good? Or should we individually, as both councillors and others?
I think following what Alan says, we need clarity on how those people with disability are going to be coped with.
Oh, there is no information other than it says on GWR's website that these people who are let loose, as it were, onto the platforms. That's one of the things they will be doing.
Well, the first thing is to get clarity on that, so it is clear, and particularly for Evesham, and how they will cope, how they will organise that for Evesham. That's the first thing, isn't it, really?
So you're saying that you would want to be asking a question?
Yeah, or a statement. It's essential that, particularly in relation to Evesham, that those people with a disability are able to have full assistance on all trains, something like that.
If I understand you correctly, did you say the consultation concludes on Wednesday? So I totally understand what Alan's saying, what Robert's saying, what Robin is saying, but is there actually time? Or if, as Robert is suggesting, we ask for clarification, will they take that into consideration, even if it goes over Wednesday? Are they open to questions, or is it just Wednesday, consultation's finished, we're now going to make a decision?
Or we just write saying it's essential, that you know, what I've just said, something along those lines.
Yeah, I think that would be the only way you could do it in the time available, because Wednesday is the cut-off point.
Yeah. That was my point, you know, all the points that are being made are very, very valid, but is there actually time? Because they've obviously compressed the whole consultation time, I presume, or was suggested.
It's basically the minimum.
It's been done deliberately in a way, you know, by, as been said before, you know, the senior management. Must be done by any fuss over this, but they could get retrospective fuss.
Yeah.
Because there are questions to be answered.
Yeah.
And if you point that as our particular concern as a town council with disability, if it fails, then we've got something to go back on that.
Well, I think I would need some clarification from Joe. I don't think we can say as a town council, because we're not representing the whole town council. We would, if we sent something, it would have to be on behalf of this committee, wouldn't it? So we could do that.
Yeah, if someone would like to draw something that would be helpful.
Okay. Right. Is everybody happy that we put something together then, from what's been said, as our views? Or do I need to have a proposer and a seconder for this? Nobody's saying.
I'm sure you can put them together.
Okay.
Bringing
It's
some
not that controversial.
statements together.
Right, so everybody, it seems as if everybody is happy with that. that's fine. Thank you.
Julie, just a quick one on that. It's obviously the right thing to do, to write and make those suggestions. Could I suggest that the committee then considers, which I'm sure they would do, that they bring to the next council meeting the fact of what they have done and ask Joe to bring it on to the next full council meeting as an agenda item so the full council are aware of the questions and objections that you're going to make?
Well, it doesn't need to, because the minutes are going to be put up for adoption at the town council meeting, like every other set of.
Yes.
So it will already be sort of on there for discussion if anyone wants to. So if someone can present the minutes as normal, then the decisions can be, adopted and the minutes agreed. So you can't do it anyway.
I'm just looking to make sure that the full council were aware that this committee are actually doing something proactive.
Well, yes, the committee will, the town council meeting will get all the minutes, and it will be on specifically for presentation and discussion if anyone wants to.
Okay, thank you.
Normally, if there's something like that, I make a point of drawing people's attention to it separately anyway. Thank you. Item 12, Battleton Brook update. Oh, hold on.
Sorry, I just wanted to know if I could make a proposal that a few of us form a working committee to try and put a plan forward to alleviate the traffic in Evesham and to maybe alter the one-way system that we've got now on Swan Lane and Oak Street and Mill Street and whatever. I've had some ideas on it myself, and I'm sure other people have got other ideas as well. But I think as residents and people who know the area and know the traffic flow, I think, is there any chance that anybody else wants to go on a working committee and try and sort something out with a new idea for the road in the town centre?
So are you talking about this as the system? Because the active travel Evesham is already looking at active travel side of things that would help to alleviate congestion. So are you specifically looking at changing the route
down Swan Lane and up Oak Street? And I've got a plan in mind, but I just want to put it forward to other people and let them shoot holes in it and see what we could possibly do. Because everybody keeps saying, oh, when there's roadworks, they alter the system. When the mop's on, they alter the system. To my mind, it doesn't work, no, but it can be altered and it can be worked on and can be made better.
I think Jill had her hand up first.
May I draw members' attention to all the efforts that were made 4 to 5 years ago? I just arrived in Evesham, and the chairman of the Civic Society, Jim Powell, was very active before he retired as chairman to try to do exactly that. And the county council got consultants in to look at all sorts of different measures to try to improve matters in Evesham town centre, and for reasons to do with the physical alignment and width and bends and everything of those roads, the consultant said it's not feasible as a permanent arrangement. So you're just going to be going back over old ground. The situation hasn't changed. One possibility that we discussed in the active travel group on Friday was maybe to lobby for a temporary trial period with temporary lights and signage and see if that would work.
On Swan Lane and Millbank.
Yeah, the area that this council was referring to, and it's something that may well come forward in the recommendations from active Evesham.
When you have your next meeting, I'd like to attend it to put my points forward, because you said with traffic lights, well, my plan's got no traffic lights. We'll abolish the traffic lights in Swan Lane and that part of the high street, because my plan, you don't need them.
You've got to get into Swan Lane.
Yeah, no you haven't. You go down Swan Lane and you come up Oak Street, and you don't need traffic lights. Anyway, that's not to be discussed here, so I'd just like to...
Councillor Gooch.
Can I suggest you put your plan on paper?
Robert.
I was just going to say pretty much what Julie's just said, that if you're going to do anything like that, the first thing you need to do, get hold of the paperwork for when all of these schemes were looked at before, see if any of the ones that were previously proposed are anything like the one that you're thinking of, and then and then work out why you can overcome the objections that the consultants had to them. Because just saying we want to do it this way won't get you anywhere. You've got to look at why they said it can't be done, and then address each individual specific point in detail before you get anywhere. So your first starter point with this scheme is get all those documents. They are still available online. I can probably find them for you if need be, but I'm sure Jill's got them somewhere.
I could send them to you.
They had a whole series of different proposals from a number of different people, ranging from the absolutely barking mad to the very sensible, but all of them, for one reason or another, were ruled as impractical. And so you need to go over that and see precisely what the issues were.
The other thing to remember is that whatever is proposed in terms of freeing up the traffic moving through the town centre generally results in the message getting round that, oh, it's easier to travel through the town centre rather than the bypass, and so you get motorists will then move off the bypass into the town centre, and it will just snarl up all over again. And it's actually, to find a permanent solution is the difficulty. It is easy to come up with something that alleviates things for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but then a new equilibrium is reached because motorists change their habits. As far as I'm aware, there's only 2 ways we can solve the problems of Evesham: stop people driving, or build a great big bypass. And that is about it. There is nothing. There's no real tinkering that is going to change anything.
The bypass was never intended to be part of the A46 trunk road. It was meant to be a bypass for the town, and it's now incorporated into the A46.
And it wasn't built as it should have been built as a dual carriageway. So this tinkering won't solve our problems.
Councillor Haynes.
I just wanted to say, it's all very well saying that alternative solutions are impractical, but the current situation is completely impractical. Are the proposed solutions any worse than what we've got at the minute? Or maybe they might be impractical, but less impractical than what we've got at the minute.
Can I suggest that members of the committee have a look at the active travel aspects of the Evesham prospectus, because I think there's an awful lot of good stuff in there. Controversial, some of it, yes. Councillor Scottoon said stop the traffic. Well, actually, that's to some extent you need to discourage traffic from coming through the town centre to make it more people friendly and more safe and welcoming to cyclists and walkers. Because at the moment the reason they don't do it is because they don't feel safe. And in order to make them feel safe, you need to reduce shift the emphasis from driving a car-centric town to a people-centric town.
Okay. I'm going to move on now to item 12. The Battleton Brook update. Now, all I've got to say, well, in fact, I haven't really got anything to say. I want to, apart from thank you to the Councillor Deacon, who has been working on putting in benches, and I'm assuming they're both there because I haven't been able to go down and look. So there are 2 benches now at Battleton Brook where people can go and enjoy the peace and quiet of the area. So, and although we've still got some other things to do, that is certainly probably for the summer, because the things we need to do can't be done at this time of year. So that's all I wanted to say on that. The date of our next meeting, Monday the 25th of September. In the meantime, I hope we all have a, oh, well done.
Well, just going back to the town plan review,
Yes.
is it possible to suggest a date for the subcommittee meeting so that we make some progress?
I think, yes, we could, I mean, there's, all of us are here, so we can talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I have that date again? Is it Monday the
25th.
Thank you.
To give my apologies now, it's the day I come back off holiday. The 20th of September. Sorry?
You come back.
I think I get back about 9 o'clock in the evening, so.
That's
Yeah, that was delayed, so I could cancel.
You need to change your plans.
Councillor Haynes.
Can I give my apologies now? We'll hopefully be in Turkey.
Weather permitting.
Well, we're in the cold field, keep an eye on hot field.
Right.
Bad joke.
Thank you very much, everyone, for your contributions. And see you again.
Well, you already know.